Hey everybody, today we are going to be doing a picnic shoulder. This is really just Boston butt, is what most people know it as. Delicious pork. We're going to be doing it right here at Guild Smokehouse and Grill, also known as my backyard. Stay tuned. So first thing we're going to do is get the grill fired up. We want to do 225 today. We'll go power, turn our grill up here to smoke, 200. Let's just leave it there until it smokes up. Then we'll go ahead and get it up to 225 and prep our pork. So it's nice and early. It's only 7 o'clock in the morning. Just got that grill going. It's starting to roll some smoke. We're going to go ahead and prep this pork butt. We're going to get it into the grill and get a nice low and slow smoke going on it. So this is really just a pork shoulder picnic roast. I like doing the ones that are bone in. You'll often see them listed as pork shoulder or pork butt or Boston butt. It's the same cut of meat. It's not the butt, it's a shoulder. All right, let's go ahead and open this up and we'll let it start to get a little air on it before we season it up. So this pork shoulder has a good amount of skin on it. Usually you'll see skin on one side. This one is going all the way around the whole shoulder. You can see here where it attaches to the leg. This is upside down, so this attaches up to the body and down to the leg. And I can see the skin all the way around it. Now, I like leaving the skin on there. It helps protect the meat from getting a little bit scorched. If it gets too hot in any part of it, it'll scorch this fat. It's going to render out some great flavor, but we're not going to want to eat that skin. By the way, you could make some amazing crackling with that, but because we're going to do this at a low, slow temperature, and we're also going to braise it at the end, it wouldn't be that crispy thing that you might like if you get a little roadside place down in Louisiana. All right, let's go ahead and just trim a little bit of this fat off of here where we want to. We're really looking for the hard fat that won't, or the grizzle that won't cook out, cook down. And I look for these when they're on sale. That's when I pick them up. You can usually get them anywhere from $1.79 to $2.59 or so on sale. And I will say, I think I'm going to score it because our rub is not going to get down through the skin very well. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my knife here and I'm going to score right through that skin. The knife's clearly not as sharp as I thought it was. And I'm going to do it about every 2 inches or so. Reminds me of the way my mom would do a roast, and she'd cut those little squares and then put cloves in every one of them with a ham. It sort of reminded me of that a little bit. Now when it comes to rub on the pork, you do what you like the best, right? You can go down to the store and just buy you any kind of good pork rub or anything that's for pork. I'll tell you what I like though. I like a little bit of the savoriness from like a brisket type of mix, of salt, pepper, garlic. I think that's really good. I am a fan of this adobo seasoning. It doesn't matter what I'm making, it almost always has one layer of adobo on it. And I'm from Texas, love Whataburger. Saw this in the store, had to pick it up. Normally when you bind one of these, you can just use the moisture from the meat. You can use mustard. There's a lot of things you can do. It gives it some moisture that the seasoning will stick to and form a bit of a bark around the outside, especially if you're smoking it without wrapping it. In this case, we're wrapping it, but I don't know. I saw this in the fridge and I just thought, I need my patty melt sauce. It's amazing. So we're going to start with adding just a little bit of this on here and rub it in. And I don't do a lot of it. I'm just going to do this one-handed because I'm going to have to flip this over and pick up the sauce again. There we go. Not a good spurter on this thing. You just want to go all sides. And the idea behind this is it's not going to add all that much flavor. What it's really doing is creating a bit of a sticky surface for everything to stick to for the seasoning. Now, I mentioned before, almost everything ends up with some of this adobo, so not a thick layer, but a completely covering thin layer across the whole thing. Now we'll go on with our seasoning. Salt, this is salt, pepper, garlic. This one happens to be one from Blackstone. It's a brisket one, but I like using these little containers. Once I use it up, I reuse these shakers when I make my own. Now, I wouldn't say I'm going thick on here, but I am not skimping away on this. Let me kind of show you what this looks like. As we turn this around, you can see we're getting a good layer all the way on here. That's what we want. Now, I do not rub this on there, despite the fact that it's called rub. Pat it on only. I want this to form a nice cover. What happens is the moisture from the meat, or our binding, in this case we're using that patty melt sauce, that begins to absorb the liquid into the powdered seasoning, and it creates a bit of a crust, and that's exactly what we want to see. All right, we've got that part done. Let's get this top side. Now you'll notice I'm touching the meat and then I'm touching this seasoning. I will wash the outside of this thing off. You do not want to put that back in your cupboard after you have pork juice on it, as you can imagine. You'll see me patting this every so often. It's because I want that to stick in there. I don't want to pick this up and have it all just fall right off of the meat. It's also the reason why we're going to let it sit and rest here for a minute, because as that moisture wicks out of the meat, it'll sort of form this into a crust on the outside, which is what we definitely want to see. We'll let this weep into it a little bit, right? As that sweat comes out of the meat, as the moisture starts to wick out, this will form into a bit of a crust. And I'm going to go wash my hands off, and we'll get right back here. Now I want to cook really low and slow today, so I'm going to do this to 225 degrees, and I want to do it until the internal temperature of this is about 165 to 175. Not that that's when it's going to be done. That's when I'm actually going to put it in some braising liquid, and we're going to just get it fall apart tender. The test is always, can you grab that bone out of the center and just pull it out clean, smooth, and easy? That will be our sort of guiding test to see how tender it is. But I'm going to go ahead and get my barbecue gloves on here, and we will pop this right into the grill. Now I'm going to do this fat cap up in this case. It's a little unusual. I usually do it on the downside so that if it gets crisp from the single burner on my small pellet smoker, it doesn't scorch it, but we'll just keep an eye on it this time. All right, I'm just going to put this right up here on the top shelf. It's going to be a tight fit. It's a tight fit, boy, I meant it, huh? Just going to scrape that off of there. A little bit of my bark got on it. You can see a little bit is oozed off. That's okay. That is okay. Oh, that's very close to the top, huh? With that, we'll close it up. We'll check back on this about every hour or so. I'm going to get all this cleaned up. Like I said, we'll leave this in here until we get to about 165 to 175 internal temperature. At that point, I'm going to go ahead and put in some of my meter probes, and I'll show you how we wrap this up and prepare it to just get fall apart tender. It's what makes pork pulled pork. You can take a fork and just grate it up as easy as you want. All right, get this cleaned up. We'll see you back here in a couple hours. So it's been about an hour or so. I thought I'd come out here, check on this, just check the temperature. I went ahead and got some more pellets. We're going to go ahead and fill up our pellet hopper just to make sure we're good. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is get some pellets going in the pellet hopper here. I do not want to run out of pellets, and I've done that before, and it's really sort of annoying when you come out here to check on the temperature and you realize, oh dang, the pellets ran out some point earlier. We're going to go ahead and just use our quick read probe here. We're going to open this up. We're going to check out the temperature of the meat. Now, I do not expect it's anywhere near done. We're doing this at a nice low and slow temperature, but we just want to check. Let me zoom in here. That scoring looks pretty good on there where we cut it before. I'm just going to slide this out a little bit, give it a little easier to expose it. I want to make sure we're not getting too much on the bottom, and we're not. We're not getting too scorched or anything down there, but we'll look at that. That is close to the top for sure. Let's go ahead and just probe into this guy. And we're sitting at 93, going down to 92, so we are not even close here. All right, so we'll put this in for a good hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it takes to get the temperature. I'll come check it in another hour or so. But
It's beautiful out here today. I think I'm gonna fill another cup of coffee, sit out here on the patio and enjoy myself. Deb's been working her tail off in the backyard, and it's really starting to look pretty amazing with rocks in all the gardens, and she got me this amazing little smokehouse sign I love out here over the grills. You know, planted some palm trees. We've got a couple other things that are getting ready to go in, so it's looking really, really nice. I'll show you. It's always a little tricky when you film this stuff, but you can kind of see on the patio here, she put all these beautiful rocks out here. You can see these two fire tables. We just haven't leveled them out, but we need to do so. It looks really good along the side of the patio. She's got a bunch of palm trees planted along the pool here. Forgive my cover for the grill sitting there. But sort of see just how nice this looks. Banana plants and palm trees all along this walkway right out to the canal. Just looks amazing. Heck, even over here where the palm tree is, she went ahead and put cleaned up the birds of paradise. Those are looking nice. And again, gravel all the way out here. Beautiful chair to sit and relax. And you know, one of the things we love so much about being here, and that is this wonderful canal. You can see just how nice this is. She really did a great job with this, especially with these gardens and all the rocks in it. I think it looks absolutely phenomenal.
Over here. Yeah, right here. Hey, do me a favor. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more like it, subscribe to the channel and click on that little bell notification so you get notified of new videos. Thanks.
Look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So it's been on now for about 4 hours. Again, we're doing this at a really low temperature, 225. It's going to be an all-day low and slow. Deb and I have been doing some work out in the yard. Heck, showered and changed already. But let's go ahead and open this up. We'll check the temperature of it, and then we'll go ahead and see if it's time to put it into our braising liquid or not. Now, I'm going to go ahead and poke this right in the very top here to just see what we're getting in the center. About 142. Whew. Do you see that? Watch this. We're kind of running around 148 to 150 in most places. A couple places we were up around 160. But generally we need to go a little longer. I'm just going to leave that go. It'll probably take another 30 to 45 minutes. I'll start working on our braising liquid, which is going to be nothing more than a little bit of brown sugar and some apple juice. That's what I like to braise with when I'm doing a pork. And we'll get the braising pan ready. So all we have to do is pull it out of the smoker, put it into the pan with a little bit of that liquid in the bottom, wrap it all up, and bring it up to about 205 degrees till it's just fall apart tender. We'll see you back here in a little while. So we're going to go ahead and prepare this now to put our pork butt right in here, and we'll finish cooking this with braising it. Unbelievably a tender way to do this. Nice and easy. I'm going to start with about 1.5 cups or so of apple juice. I'm just going to pour that right in the bottom of my pan. And what you choose to braise in is really your choice, but with pork, I like doing something like an apple juice, something a little bit acidic, yet still sweet. So this kind of works pretty well for me. Now I'm going to probably do, I don't know, let's call it 1/2 to 3/4 cup of brown sugar. I'm just breaking up some of the little chunks of brown sugar, mixing this up real well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down on the bottom rack of the grill. I want to heat this up just enough so that we melt that brown sugar into the liquid. What I don't want to have happen is have that brown sugar scorch on the bottom of this. And it's actually doing pretty good just right outside here in the warm weather, but I'm going to stick it on that grill too. I'm just going to put this right underneath here. The idea is some of that grease and fat from the pork will continue to drip into that. And I've got a tray I'll put this on in just a few minutes, but that's just going to heat it up enough that that brown sugar will all incorporate into the apple juice. All right, I'm sure this has been on there long enough to have melted that sugar. Oh yeah. Put this right up here, and I'm just going to do a quick mix on this. I'm going to use a little tray like this. We're just going to pop that right down in there to keep our pork up off of it just a bit. That pork looks amazing. You can see just how good this thing looks. That still is not fall apart tender, but man, oh man, does that look amazing. I'm just going to set that right in our tray here. All right. Let's get our foil here. I'm getting two pieces of foil, and then I'm just going to go ahead and fold a little edge right here. Just turn this into one sheet. I feel like it's a sewing technique here. I'm making a hem. Just open that side back up. We now have what will be perfect for covering this. I want to cover it loosely. That's the reason why I got this a little bit bigger than need be. I want to build a little tent in here. My idea is I want that steam to kind of come right up. Pork is sitting up on that rack, and that steam will just continue to steam this until it just is fall apart tender. What I've done is I've taken that rack out of the top of the grill, I turned the rack upside down, and I put it on the bottom of the grill. That way it's going to be up off the firebox just a little bit. We'll put this right in there. Probably be another 3 or 4 hours. We can always probe it to check for sure, but it should just be fall apart tender when we're done. Let's get this back on the smoker. All right, we'll get this guy open. You can see what I mean. I took that top rack and turned it upside down on there. This will just get this elevated up off of that just a little bit. Set that right in the middle. Close this up. And as they say, now we wait. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up a little bit out here just because I see some clouds off in the distance. In the event it starts to rain in the next couple hours, I'll slide my little portable counter over there and I'll put the grill right up against the side of the house. We'll leave that going. We'll check back here in a few hours when that's over 205 degrees. It's going to be amazing. Looking forward to it. But it's been an all-day cook, which means it's probably going to be tomorrow's meals. So this is interesting. It's 5:50 p.m. I put this on at about 7:45 this morning. So we're literally going on almost 10 hours. I have not had this above 200 degrees, so it has been an unbelievably low and slow cook. It's exactly what we want to see. I'm going to go ahead and take this out. I'm going to pop it right up here on the cutting board. Again, you know, I've got it covered. I've got some braising juice in there, so I want to be real careful I don't slosh this around. And it is bright out here today. So I went ahead and just poked through here, and it's going right into it. I'm sitting at 203, 204.4 there. We're at 201.8 there. 207.6 here. So we are right at that place. And by the way, this goes in like it's butter. It's just so smooth. All right, let me go ahead and open this up, and then we're going to let it rest. We're going to let it rest for just a little while, but I want to show you what this looks like as we open it up. Oh, look at that sucker. I always talk about this being the test, right? You reach in, you grab the bone, and you give a pull. If the bone comes out completely clean, I don't want to lose any of that meat, and you know that's tender. And there you go. And make sure I'm using these gloves because this, I mean, you can see just how clean that came out of there. It's just amazing. And I love this. You can just, I told you about this skin. You can see just how easily that'll just peel right off of there. Just amazing here. Now, I'm a fan of actually taking this fat cap off and getting rid of this. This is delicious flavor. You can use it for a lot of things, but honestly, I don't like it when I pull my pork. So, take that and put it right in our foil here. I think I may be feeding this to some of the fish out there. They love, love, love this stuff. We have tarpon and snook out here. Get a little meat out there. They're happy as a clam. Now, it's going to be really hard to turn this over. I'm going to try. It's probably going to fall apart. Remember that skin went around the back side of this too. It's irresistible. I mean, you just immediately want to go in there and grab a bite. Oh my God. So tender, so tender. To quote Matt Pittman, I ain't mad at it. I'm gonna go get a fork and show you just how tender this is. These little spikes are like using 2 forks. You just basically just put it in there and spread it, and you can see just how tender this is. Like that pulled pork is just shredding up like you would expect. Even that part that was on the bottom the whole time and has a little bit of a dry edge, you can see just how amazing that is. Oh. And again, I have all the liquid on the very top, so if we want a little bit more of that liquid on there, easy enough to just dip it down in that juice. But you can get a sense for just how tender that is. Look at that. Here, even this part where that was on the bottom, you can see just how easily that pulls apart too. A little bit of that nice crust on it. You want to try a piece, Swabby?
Yeah, sure.
Folks, here it is. I mean, just, ooh, almost dropped that out of there. I mean, just look at that delicious pulled pork. And I still have, that's maybe a fourth of it right there. All the rest of it's still whole here. Again, just grabbing a piece of this. It's absolutely delicious. You want to add it, drip in a little bit of the au jus in the bottom, you certainly could. Tender, pork flavored, unbelievably delicious. I hope you guys give this one a try. We'll see you next time.
Me.
You got, take it in your fingers. Oh, you want this big piece?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you dropped some. Thank you.
Hold it. Oh, good. You're still here. Hey, listen, if you've enjoyed this video, check out all of our smoking videos right up here and all of our Blackstone ones right down here. Thanks, y'all.